The Flaming Lips have always been one of rock's most consistently weird and confounding bands. For every album like 1999's Near Perfect, The Soft Bulletin, or 2002's Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots, there are projects that many have considered creative follies, like their Pink Floyd homage from 2009, and the 2008 film Christmas on Mars, not to mention their 2015 collaboration with Miley Cyrus. But taken together, the arch of the Flaming Lips' creative output has been consistently fresh, especially for a major label, chart-topping band, with the artistically adventurous moments outweighing the misses by a mile, as evidenced on their expanded, deluxe edition of 2018's Greatest Hits, Volume 1. Nowhere is the band's bold vision more evident than on its new album King's Mouth, out on limited edition vinyl for Record Store Day, with a full release coming later this year. A full-on, old-school concept album, King's Mouth again breaks new ground, while retaining enough of a sonic connection to the Soft Bulletin and Yoshimi Airlips music to make it feel immediately familiar to the band's legion of fans. Shamanic lead singer Coyne recently spoke to the Daily Beast about what King's Mouth is all about, how Donald Trump is irrelevant to him, and why keeping it local is really what it's all about. In the run-up to the release of the album, there was a lot of chatter on the internet that given its title, King's Mouth, it would be a Trump parable, or Brexit parable. So is it allegorical? Because you've told me before that you don't see yourself as a political artist, no matter how outspoken about your beliefs you sometimes are. Coyne. The same thing happened when Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots was almost turned into a musical. There was a brief meeting, a doomed meeting, in a sense, with Aaron Sorkin, and he thought it could be about the Bush administration and 9/11, and honestly, it could be, with Aaron Sorkin working on it. But he asked me if I'd like that, and I said, no. As much as I don't like Trump, and as much as I don't like Brexit, and as much as I didn't like George W., my stuff isn't sarcasm, and it's not political satire. Bush, I'm just not in that world. In hindsight, I'm probably the only person who's ever said no to Aaron Sorkin in the last 30 years. And I do wish, in a sense, that I would have said yes and let him turn it into something more overtly political, because I think it then could have had two meanings. It could have the meaning I wanted it to, and it could have had the meaning he wanted. But part of me probably would have horribly regretted it, too. So with King's Mouth, because everybody is pulling their hair out about Trump, people are looking for any story that seems to be political. We're going to win here in the end, right? And the idea has been around for quite a while, hasn't it? That's right. King's Mouth started way back in 2014 at our gallery. We would have parties at our gallery, and people would be in there 4 o'clock in the morning, 10 people, all laying on each other in this cylinder we'd built, looking at these crazy movies that were all in sync with the sound and lights we'd created for it. And then the curator for the American Visionary Arts Museum from Baltimore, a music critic guy that I've known for a while, became interested in us doing the King's Mouth installation there. So the album started out initially as music that we made for the installation, as this wordless, abstract story. He got us to go to the next level, but it really compelled us. And for the first year or two, it was just that, because at the end of experiencing the installation, you would kind of walk away feeling like you'd received some biblical message from outer space. People would say, "What is this? What's the story?" So the curator at the museum said, "You should just make up a story." And I did, because everything always has to be done in such a hurry. Just willy-nilly, really. We need it tomorrow. But I think sometimes that really helps when you have to just go with your intuition. You've collaborated with Miley Cyrus, and worked with orchestras on live versions of Soft Bulletin and Yoshimi, and you've got Mick Jones from The Clash on this album, and now you're saying this piece was in large part inspired by this gallery owner from Baltimore. There are very few artists who are as open to collaboration as you guys are. It seems you really feed off other people's ideas and intuition for maybe finding your path forward. We talk about this within the group a lot. I think artists can be pretty satisfied working on their own, in the sense that if you do a painting in your house, you feel as though it's great, and when you finish it, it stays in your house, and you're pretty satisfied. But somewhere along the way, you do wonder, is this working? Because I'm not just baking these cookies for myself, I do want people to like them, and I do want this message to be understood. And so I think there's plenty of things that I get to do that are absolutely me within the Flaming Lips music. There's never a day that I think, there should be more me going on there. But I want to know that it's having an impact. I want to know that the bits that are supposed to be funny make people laugh, and the ones that are sad make people sad. So that type of evolution, where it's not just me, and there are other people involved, where I have to trust their actions and they have to trust mine. If they are really good at what they're doing, it's not resentment and it's not a competition. The relationship really is all of it. It's love and King's Mouth becoming an installation. And then everything that evolved from that was a 5-year evolution of work, work, work. That was truly collaborative in the best sense. The album has such a cinematic feel to it, and such a broad palette sonically. Do you feel as though that long gestation period, when you were working with orchestras, helped expand your horizons creatively, too? Well, when we started to come up with the sound palette, part of it was that the story is set in, I hate to say it, because we didn't think of this at the time, but kind of a Game of Thrones scenario. But in the future, and from outer space, although in sort of medieval times. So we would say, medieval, from outer space. The Flaming Lips are perfect for that. So whenever we ran into the question of what's this going to sound like, we would easily go for these big brass horns and big choirs, big, and so we veered away from being a rock group. Big choirs. We wanted it to be evocative of medieval monks. And the story, I think, really helped. I know that it's one of my dilemmas, thinking something needs 100 pieces, when in the end it only really needs 5, because when we have time to keep working on something, it easily gets giant and huge and out of control. Usually in the first week we work on it, but over 3 or 4 years we hone it back to just 3 or 4 essential things. And I think that process has really worked well for us,